Hi, welcome back to another edition of Jewelry Repairs with your welder. I hope you enjoy this. Today, I am going to change these clip-on earring screwbacks, basically. They're for unpierced ears, for pierced ears, because this person actually has pierced ears, and this sometimes is rather not comfortable because of the pressure. And she wanted something to be added for a hook, but I'm going to put that as a leverback. These are not very expensive, and just so you see, these are costume, and this is not set very well. I thought it just pivoted, but I think they were purchased this way because it's tight like that. So let's see what happens. I'm going to make an attempt. So in looking at this, basically I want there to be a loop like this, just somewhat top. I prefer not to right up top because this is fairly significant already, and we just want it to be minimal. So if possible, I want a loop like this that's half exposed, and then I can hook on to the leverback facing this way. So a loop this way. I have one of two options, and I haven't tried them, so we will see. An easy way is for this to be wrapped up into a loop like this, and then have the jump ring go this way so that it would be somewhat exposed and then hooked up that way. So I would take this off, wrap it into a loop this way, weld it, if I can do it without breaking this part, because sometimes with costume jewelry, these are not very malleable and they're hardened already, and when you try to maneuver it too much, manhandle it, it will break off, and I don't want for it to break off after a couple of wears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feel for it and see if I can turn it into the loop. If it feels really strong and I don't see any stress marks, then I'm going to weld it. So that loop onto this so it doesn't open up again, and have the jump ring this way and weld that. Then we're going to add the leverback. If it is the case that doesn't work, then I'm just going to have to cut this off, weld something to it. So those are my two options, and we'll see. So I'm going to cut this off, this part, and I know I don't need that much. So I'm going to cut off a bit of it and then curl it. Now the thing is, there's no saving this, there's no going back, so I'm just going to cut it off. Now see, this is fairly thick, so I would not suggest that you use your fine wire cutters, these flush cutters. I've got a sprue cutter, and I don't remember, I think I paid $40 some odd dollars for it, maybe $45. But you want something that is very heavy, and I use this to cut off the sprue, which is the casting. When I cast silver, there's that part that sticks out because of pouring, and you have to cut it off. And I find that it cuts like butter. Yeah, okay. I just had to show that off because I really enjoy it. So I'm going to use this, even though I know I don't need that much, just in case if I make a mistake and I wish I could do it all over again, I've got a little bit more to work with. Okay, you know what? This is really hard, and I'm not sure. Okay, that did not work. Watch, I've already torn it off. So that's what I was talking about. With a lot of costume jewelry, it's strong, but actually it's not very flexible. So you break it off very easily. So that is not going to work, my first method, but at least we know it can be easily removed. I'm going to do this. Yeah. Okay. Option number 2. Option number 2. I'm going to weld this jump ring onto this. I'm going to weld this 22 gauge jump ring, that's 3mm, securely, and then I'm going to pinch on both sides to make it somewhat oblong before welding onto this up here. But I'm going to also make sure that it clears everything. They'll swing nicely and it's going to fit the lever back. I am, and I hope you can see this, using the upgraded ADL because I can see so much better. And the other thing is I'm going to weld this at 8 watts. Although I don't need 8 watts, I'm going to weld it so that it completely melts and it's secure because I'm going to pinch it. So it will stress the metal. If it is not a really melted weld, a secure weld, the stress of pressing on both sides will pop where there's a weakness, a crack. So I'm going to weld this side and also the other side. I'm going to show you. I'm also not using argon gas because some people don't have it, and I want to show you the effect of not having it. With argon gas, it'll only be a lot better. Okay. Okay. Excellent. I'm going to give you a closer look. Not completely melty at the top, but it is very secure. So it's good, and I am going to press down like this. When I press down, this here will be the part that goes oblong at the point. There. Okay, so this is the lever back, and I'm just going to be hooking it on like this. And I'm mocking it up. So basically, this will swing freely like this, and I'm going to weld it so that it will all swing freely. I'm going to make sure that there is enough room for clearance, and I'm going to also take a look at it this way before welding. Once I've welded it, a tack weld, I'm going to see about letting it swing and make sure that it is comfortable and it looks natural. So let's see how it goes. I want to show you at this angle. Basically, this is how it's going to work. And I want to make sure in deciding where to weld, I take a look at this, make sure that it's not too tight. And so I see where it's going to be to give you a bit of clearance, the wiggle room, so that this part is not rubbing against this part and being awkward as we walk. Okay, so it's actually quite on the tip like this. So basically, I've decided that actually I don't have a lot of room to be able to weld like this. It has to be higher. I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so I'm going to tack weld. I'm going to try 7 watts, and I'm going to weld from the side, hold it like that. Once it's tack weld and it's good, I might take this off to weld the stylus off to weld later. So I hope you can see. Filming is really tricky. Oh. Okay, it's hard to work the angle. And the other thing is you have to keep this very clean. If it's too sooty, it's hard to weld. I'm gonna put it higher. I'm gonna see if I can hold on to it in a different way. The electrode was too much of an angle holding on to this. It's hard for me to do it. So I'm going in filming. So what I'm going to do is take this out. Maybe I'll take it out, or maybe I'll try again doing this way because of the uneven surfaces. I don't want to destroy this, but I want this to be secure. Okay, that's good. I'll show you. You see, this has melted through. That's a good sign. If I was soldering this, I would just put lots and lots of solder, make a goop of it. But with welding, you don't have that kind of luxury. If it is the case that you actually want this to add metal, you would use a head pin or something that you can melt or wire into this. But I'm going to continue trying to do this without extra metal. I'm going to do a bit more. You probably noticed the ADL, the auto dimming lens, going completely black as the weld is taking place. That is to protect the eyes. But the problem is you don't get to see it. So I'm going to explain what I've just done. Okay, so I'm going to show you the result. I've welded like this, tack weld, and then here, and then here. So it's all around here. It's nicely done. And then what I did was I positioned it right here, in between here, so that there's support of melted metal here as well as this. And it's very strong. So now I'm going to add lever back and see what happens. Okay, moment of truth. And there. I'm going to close it. This. Okay, it's good. And it swings nicely. That's what it will look like. So now I'm going to just tack weld this little bit. There's not going to be a whole lot of weight on the lever back. So that's what the result is. I'm going to do the other one as well. Okay, so now I'm going to weld this close, the lever back. And it's done. And here are the results. From clip-ons to lever backs. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, please like and subscribe. Stones and Findings is a wholesaler of premium quality chains and findings, and I'm going to leave more information about our company as well as the tools and accessories I've used. This is a bonus clip. I placed the camera on time-lapse behind me. I find it entertaining to watch Charlie Chaplin speed movements. It also gives you another perspective of the filming process. A lot of people ask, and this is how I film my low budget videos. I love welding alone and in the quiet. It's time to myself.